Okay, welcome to this meeting of the Accessibility Advisory Committee for the City of Quinte West. As our name implies, we are an advisory committee and our duty is to report and advise on all matters that fall within our mandate and to recommend such actions to council as may be deemed necessary. We are not able to bind or compel council to any recommendation we may discuss or make. Looking around, I'll ask, does anybody have any pecuniary interest to be declared? I didn't think so. We can carry on. And we now look for approval of the agenda of the meeting for today. Moved by Committee Member Kloss, seconded by Committee Member Robbins. All those in favor? Opposed, if any? Motion is carried. We'll move right along to the approval of the minutes from August. Need a mover and a seconder again. Moved by Councillor Sharp, seconded by Committee Member Kloss. All those in favor? Motion is carried. Okay, we have no delegations. So, any public? I see none. We can carry on, I think, to number 7 already. Items for committee's consideration. The first is staff report from Louise Smith, our accessibility coordinator.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you to the committee. In accordance with requirements of the Accessibility for Ontarians with Disabilities Act 20005, the city is required to review and update its multi-year accessibility plan on a regular basis. In accordance with the government legislation, it is a reviewable plan once every 5 years. Our current plan it covers the period of 2021 to 2024 and was focused on foundational compliance, so barrier identification, staff training, and accessible customer service. This new cycle is going to provide us an opportunity for the city to update our commitments, deepen our accessibility integration across organizational practices, and respond to emerging needs and best practices. So we did do a public consultation process. So we had a Quinte West multi-year accessibility plan survey out from October 15th to November 7th, 2025. The survey consisted of 18 questions and received a total of 26 responses during the survey period. My report does break down some of the concerns and identification that were identified during that period or during the survey. For the 2025-2029 multi-year accessibility plan, the identification and removal of barriers when providing services to persons with disability remains a priority for the city. The city is committed to continue to identify improvements to municipal practices and procedures, as well as move forward with integrating accessibility features into new and redeveloped public spaces. The city will create a corporate procedure for the creation of accessible documents and accessible web content to ensure that the city website reaches and meets WCAG 2.1 standards. Those are the priorities basically that we've identified, as well as using technology to the best of our ability to assist with getting through any barriers that are identified. As I noted, the city is committed to continuing to fix and repair infrastructure where it can to make it accessible almost all downtown sidewalks now have tactile plates. There is some maintenance that still needs to be done, but they did do quite a bit of it downtown this summer. So the city is continuing to move forward with that. If you want to ask.
First, I'll ask if anybody else has any questions or comments for Louise. Committee Member Claus.
I saw the online survey. Was there an opportunity elsewhere for people who aren't online savvy to participate in the survey, or did that not happen?
It was advertised in the newspaper that they could come into City Hall and get the questions, and they could submit physical paper if they liked. It was also advertised on our social media. Social media and website were the biggest areas where we got responses.
I'd just like to note on that, I tried to get on. I'm one of these people who's not very computer savvy, and unfortunately, I missed it. I am going to have some questions once I poll everybody else. I did try, but unfortunately didn't get on to it, but I had the opportunity to read it over the weekend. Anybody else with comments? Seeing nobody else, I am going to ask for some indulgence for just a few minutes of my time to mention some things that I picked up on over the weekend. The first, I have noted that it says here the need for accessible parking spaces is growing. Early on, over a year ago now, I approached Frankfurt Legion and threw that to our representative for the town. And I know she has tried different times. This has been approved, but there still seems to be no progress on getting an additional space for Frankfurt Legion.
That is a different situation because the space is actually in a parking lot owned by the Legion, where they have a maintenance agreement with the municipality. So that is what the holdup, I guess, is there.
Yeah, I'm not putting any blame on Louise to make sure, like, the people know that, but I know that she has been told that it's going to happen. Anyways, the next is I put a mark beside to ease the strain on Quinte Transit. More buses, drivers, and routes would be beneficial. I completely agree. However, it's been my experience lately that they have trouble having enough drivers for the current routes. So that's something that I think should at least be looked at, why there is a problem getting the drivers necessary. And once again, not blaming anybody, but maybe Committee Member Claus could enlighten us.
So, as all organizations involved in the city of Quinte West right now, Quinte Access is also working on a budget. And people may not know that although we do get funding from the city, we also have other sources for funding. We have a great contingent of bus drivers. If you get to know the organization better, many of the drivers are semi-retired folks. So they're of retirement age. They're doing like what many of us want to do, is retire but have a part-time job. But you'll see it everywhere else as people age. You don't necessarily become more robust. And so there has been illness, there's been long-term illnesses, there's not really a good answer to recruiting and retaining. If the question is, are people happy in their work? My opinion is that most folks are happy in their work until they're not, and then they fix something and then they come back. So I don't think, it's not a systemic issue that needs solving. We do need more drivers, but it's not a, how shall I put it? It's more of a supply source, maybe.
Supply and demand.
Yeah, finding the right people for the right job, because of course, there is a lot of responsibility to being a bus driver and to carrying the precious cargo that they do. So there is that. The matter of more routes or more frequent routes, I can tell you that routes are being looked at. That's all I know. It is a particular Quinte West challenge for the buses to stay on time with the bridges, with the afternoon traffic jam between, what is it, 2:30 and 4? 2
Yes.
and 3, that afternoon where
Bay
buses
gets
trying
out.
to, yeah, trying to keep a schedule. We're looking at ways to make some kind of positive change there. But we try to listen to the folks, to the users and the riders. We have great input from ridership. And I should have said, I'm speaking as a board member for Quinte Access. But we listen to people. It's just, it is actually it doesn't look like a huge organization, but you move one part and the ripple is really far-reaching. So we have to be pretty sure when we make those changes to routes or to getting buses. I'm sure people don't really know the cost of accessible buses and the availability of them now. That life has changed with where steel and aluminum and things are made. It's all very complicated, but everybody's listening. Everybody's trying to make things work in a more improved fashion for others.
Once again, thank you. Once again, not trying to put any blame anywhere. It's just if we're going to have more routes, we're going to have to, and I say we.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
look deep. The next one I had marked was about enforcing parking regulations for those using the parking spaces. And becoming part of this committee, I learned a lot. The ones on the streets, they can be fined. What my experience has been with my hidden disabilities, I will say, some days are worse than others, is on private lots, which apparently we have no control over. But my suggestion would be, if possible, to have some of the main players at least where you have a meeting with them and express how important it is for the accessibility. I realize they don't want to enforce it because they're afraid they're going to lose a customer. I've heard of one place, though, that does enforce it, and my suggestion is that somehow we convey to the private business in town how important it is to have the accessibility. I can just leave that there. Once again, I'll ask you to indulge me, and I'm not putting any blame anywhere, but I had some thoughts last night, and I jogged them down, so to remind me, jotted them down. And I call it the forest and the trees because we're seeing the forest, but a lot of times we don't see the trees. It's the reverse. When I first got on here, I was hoping, like all gung-ho, that we're going to fix some items. And I know Karen will be aware of one for sure, right off the bat, is because of where I have to walk to get my mail.
The mail.
Now, I believe that should be federal because we're going to have more and more of this. I was discussing it with a friend. If the government goes to super boxes in town, we're going to have more and more where people want to be able to access them by walking. Like I know most of the members here know where I live, and up on Hamilton Road where I have to walk, I'd been told for years that when the road was done, it would be done. I keep saying you get on your bicycle or you take a walk and you leave Walbridge Road, you come up as far as the tracks on Hamilton Road, and you turn around and go back. Because once you get back past there, a lot of it isn't accessible anymore. And I even made a suggestion at a budget meeting how to make a temporary fix. But anybody that walks along Hamilton Road, between that stretch, there's multiple things, what I call trees. And one is the part from the boys' home up to the tracks. On down, there is a couple of fruit trees during different parts of the year that you don't want to walk through because it's all squished fruit all over the sidewalks. If this was in town, I imagine it would be a little different. But our sidewalk is very dangerous, actually. And once again, it's the accessibility. I call them trees. In this case, they're literally trees. The already touched on the one I just happened to notice at our awards ceremony was our microphone. We had a guest who was in a wheelchair who won an award. I don't know whether it was said on purpose or not, that he was loud enough, but I imagine if we wanted to, we could have got him a microphone. But I did, it just sort of caught me when I got thinking about it afterwards that we had an award, but the microphone wasn't really accessible. It's just something we might look at in the future. One other thing, or I got two little ones, I think they are, is it would be nice if not just public works counselors or whatever were given an inspiration or something that when they're driving around to take a look at different things that are not accessible. They may be just something very small that could be fixed, and maybe we could have they call it a snitch line on some things, but someplace you could call and just leave a message that you've come across something. I know Centennial Park at different times, and it's been brought up about the getting across the grass. When I went to the July 1st, we had a park quite a ways away, walked across what was supposed to be sidewalk, different places we couldn't even get through, some places we didn't want to go through because of people. But it's just, if people could keep an eye out for these small things. And I will just leave with one last thing, and I'm not trying to be a Grinch, but I would hope that next year, when they set the Christmas tree up, that they don't block the ramp coming up. I have trouble stepping up quite a few times, and right now, the ramp is blocked with the Christmas tree. If we're going to be accessible, I think that's an easy one that next year, hopefully, they find a different spot for it. I told you I'd take up a little bit of your time, and so that's it. I'm done if you call it a rant or whatever. Counselor Sharp.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and it's definitely not a rant. It's, you know, you're just paying attention and helping us get advice on all these important thoughts. I wasn't clear. I just made a number of notes. What tree and what ramp? The one at City Hall? I just want to understand. Oh, here?
The Christmas tree right here.
Oh, okay. Right. So you can't, okay. And,
They did
the
set
other
it up in the
one,
middle of the access, they did set it up in the middle of the access aisle, Karen. I've mentioned it, and it can be moved
okay.
if necessary, like for future events.
Okay, and it is festive, and we appreciate it, but that's a good thought, right? As long as we can just move it when we need to. And also, the one about, thank you, Bill, there was, okay, with the post office and their potential review of more mailboxes, and those kind of things, we could probably request a motion to request that consideration. I know they get these a lot about ensuring that the mailboxes are accessible. I know the community mailboxes there's going to be more of them, I'm sure. We could do something to that level. I at least put something forward there. And we have tried, as Bill, Mr. Chair, has indicated regarding the particular area and sidewalk that you've mentioned, and we're dealing with the budget coming up with the accessibility items. There are many, so we can certainly consider these matters you've brought forward. I did want to advise the committee that we did receive a grant. Maybe this better under new business, but I don't want to forget, with the federal government and others with regard to Bain and Centennial, to have a paved trail with accessibility, supports, and making sure it was accessible for rolling, wheelchair, and so forth. And that was part of that grant. So I wanted to share that, which we were very happy to receive quite a bit of money with regard to that. So anyway, no, thank you, Bill. I was just making Mr. Chair was making some notes. Thank you.
Thank you. And I don't know whether it's necessary, Louise could probably enlighten us but about the post office. And I just say maybe there's some money there from the feds for accessibility.
Post office, when they're deciding on putting new super boxes in, I don't know if they consult with the municipality for not new development. I know when new development goes in, subdivisions, et cetera, Canada Post is circulated, and then they provide us with their ideas on where they want the super mailboxes to be. But as far as them looking at putting super boxes into established spots, I'm not sure what their regulation or what their process is with that. It's something that we could possibly bring forward to Planning and Public Works, just to remind them that accessibility needs to be a key consideration when they are putting that sort of infrastructure in.
Yeah. I think that's a very good idea, Louise, and I'd put forward a motion that we had recommend to the appropriate department through to the Canada Post to please ensure our municipalities consulted and accessibility remains one of their considerations and priorities for community mailboxes. Something to that effect. I think they try, but I think we need to enhance this from our committee to the departments and to Canada Post, because there are going to be more and more.
Sorry, Karen, are you making that motion then?
I am.
Okay. Moved by Karen.
So, moved by Councillor Sharp, seconded by Committee Member Kloss. I won't go through it all again, but that we advise the proper people at the city that when the post office boxes are put in, that we try to get consulted on the accessibility of them.
Right.
I think I got it. All those in favor? Opposed? That motion is carried. And now I guess I can turn it back over to Louise to finish. I think the discussion is done. Do you have anything to add?
I just need a mover and seconder to receive the report, and allow me to provide these comments to council. Prior to their review and approval, this will be going to council, the next meeting of council. The plan itself will be going to the next meeting of council on December 17th.
So moved by Committee Member Robbins, seconded by Committee Member Kloss, that the report be received and along with the comments passed on to City Council. All those in favor? Nobody opposed? That motion is carried. We now have correspondence, and we have the AODA toolbox from December of 2025, and once again, I will let Louise expand on that.
Thank you, Chair. So the AODA toolbox is put out by the ministry. It just so happened that on December 3rd, after our after our awards session, I got back to my desk and there was the email that they had released their December mailbox, or toolbox. So I included it with this agenda for committee information. If anybody has any questions or about it, I can send you a link to subscribe to the toolbox. That way you can receive the email directly to yourselves if you'd like.
Okay, so once again, we need a motion to receive
Receive and file.
and file. Looking, okay, moved by Committee Member Kloss, seconded by Committee Member Robbins, and all those in favor. Motion is carried. Which brings us to new and other business. And once again, I will let Louise do the invitation.
Thank you, Chair. So I have included with your agendas an invitation to the Mayor and Council Skate and Social on Sunday, January 11th at Dunk Memorial Arena from 10 to 12 p.m. Council has requested that we circulate this to all committee members as well as the public. So I included that in your package so that maybe you can take it home and tack it on your calendars.
I think it's on my calendar or something because my wife jokingly said that I could go and skate, which I would have to learn how to skate first, but maybe she thought I might fall. Now, I know I went through a lot of the next one, which we'll ask for any of the committee members' comments on any topics of concern. And Committee Member Klost.
At our award ceremony last week, which was such a lovely event, there was a conversation that involved people talking about the previous accessathons that have been held by the city in conjunction with the advisory committee, Quinte Access, concerned citizens. And I'm wondering if maybe 2026 would be a good year to revise that, revive it, and revise it. It always had a good response. It was a learning exercise for so many people. So when you talk about people noticing things and seeing things, this would be one way to an experiential model for so many people to learn about the barriers that get in the way of folks with various disabilities. So I'm not making a motion, but I am wondering if we should think about it. It used to be held in May. I know there are some people who were very involved in it in the past and have some know how to build sand traps for wheelchairs to go through, and we have a lot of new businesses, we have a lot of new neighborhoods, and I think maybe this would be the year to just bring it to people's attention that life isn't as smooth for everybody who lives here, and there may be ways of improving it. So that is my new business.
Councillor Sharp.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I think this was to one of your points that you raised about advocacy and education. Betty, you know, for many, many years, I attended many of the accessibility days, Bill Vandervoort and all the gang, and it was quite an education. My only 2 cents I'd add is that maybe looking to 2027, you would have new council members who may not have been exposed to accessibility in the community. We would have many new formed committees that would have been appointed by the new council, and I think they should all have this opportunity for education and exposure on Accessibility Day, whatever day you choose. But if you do it in May, I think you may miss some individuals that should have this opportunity to be educated and really draw in all the new staff at Quinte West. I mean, I do think in the new businesses there has been so much, or look to a time in October. But that's my only 2 cents. I think that had been an event for many, many years, and it started to lose its interest. But now, with all the new businesses, all the new staff, all the new potential council committees, boards, this would be a really good thing to do again. But I wonder if you may want to look to 2027 or late 2026. Thank you.
I guess here I could chime in for what it's worth. I'm thinking October might be a good time because you may also draw in prospective councilors, mayor, whatever, and you generally get more interest at that time from them. And they may become educated on some of the accessibility if we have it before they get in and then again after they get in. That's just my opinion.
Through you, Mr. Chair. Speaking from a staff resource viewpoint, I concur with Councillor Sharp that May of 2027 would be a much better possible time frame. just to allow for planning and allow, because of the new council that'll be coming in, new committee members coming in. Everything in October, with the election being October, at the end of October, it just, you're not going to have the staff resource
Crazy
for it to be
busy.
able to support it.
Okay, I understand that part, and it's the staff resources that, but hopefully the committee can push something for incoming candidates that were here. But any other comments on that? Committee Member Robbins.
I tend to agree with Councillor Sharp and Louise about 2027. I think with committee members not being here today, I think it takes a lot of planning. And because we have to actually get some more volunteers to help us to do the assess-a-thon and to, to advertise and that sort of thing, I think it's going to take probably a year to get it all planned out, because there's lots of resources, like we need gravel, this kind of thing to do, even do a part in the parking lot. And we used to use the parking lot down at the market. And that was where the Quinte Access building used to be. So whether we can even use that parking lot, or do we have to use City Hall parking lot? City Hall is a great building and whatever else, but it's not visible. So we should be looking at somewhere where it's more visible downtown. But that's my opinion, but I agree with comments made that it should be in 2027.
Okay, that sounds like that's the consensus then, is May of 2027. I guess we don't need a motion at this time, but somewhere it should be probably recorded in the minutes that it was discussed at least, so that people looking ahead know about it. Do we have any other business? Councillor Sharp.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Two things. Wishing everyone a safe and healthy holiday season and all the best in the new year. And just a bit of a reminder, our past member, Councillor Sally Freeman, her celebration of life is this Sunday from 2 to 5 at the Trentport Marina. So if those are able to attend, I just wanted to let you know that there is a celebration of life for Sally, 2 to 5 this Sunday, December 14th at the Trentport Marina.
Thank you. I have it marked on a piece of paper on my desk at home, hoping. I guess I'll start from this end too. I also want to wish the best of the season to each of our committee members and to anybody who helped us out. I'm hoping for a very good new year, and I'll carry on to our other committee members.
It's been a year of all kinds of things, but of course losing Sally has been a difficult one. So it's good. Thank you for the reminder for her celebration of life. But hopefully we will all have a healthy year ahead and we'll accomplish more great things, and wish everybody and their families a good Christmas.
I'd like to thank everyone on the committee for their involvement this year, and wishing everyone a happy and healthy Christmas as well, and the best in 2026.
And do you have anything for us, Louise, or? Not to put you on the spot.
Just extending my best wishes for happy holidays to all the committee members, and thanking you for your support over this year. I don't know if, pretty sure everybody pretty much knows, but I will be retiring in 2026. So you will end up having to deal with someone new and have the joy of training her or him, whoever it happens to be. So enjoy your holidays now, guys.
Committee Member Robbins.
Well, Louise, I didn't know about your retirement, but we wish you a very happy retirement, a healthy one, and enjoy your life beyond work.
I won't pry into just when in 2026 at this time, but I think we're at the time we can go for a motion for adjournment. Moved by Committee Member Robbins, seconded by, okay, Committee Member Kloss. All those in favor? Motion is carried. I thank everybody for putting up with me over the past year, and we will see you next year. Thank you.